model. I don't have a model.
You need a better education. 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 Was able to easily debunk your fucking nonsense. Was able to easily debunk your fucking nonsense. Was able to easily debunk your fucking nonsense. Was able to easily debunk your fucking nonsense.
They have their high priests who push their dogma. They have their high priests who push their dogma. They have their high priests who push their dogma. They have their high priests who push their dogma. They have their high priests who push their dogma. They have their high priests who push their dogma. They have their high priests who push their dogma. I don't have a model. 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 I don't have a model.
You need a better education.
It's full of just horrible things. And oh, hi, hello.
Hi,
I was talking
y'all.
about Twitter. I was talking about Twitter and
You
how
should feel,
lovely it is.
but you should feel right at home because it's a dumpster fire, like your show.
It's
Yay.
a different kind of dumpster fire though. Like this kind of dumpster fire I can manage, but actually it's like instead of a dumpster fire, it's a bunch of random trash can fires all over the place. And it's like I want to get to. It's like Twitter is a building that I want to get to, right? And there's an objective that I want to get to. And in order to get to the Twitter that I want, I have to circumnavigate all of these trash can fires all over the place. One dumpster fire, you can easily just move around, but it's harder to move around several thousand dumpster fires or trash can fires.
Fire orgy.
Trash can fires, that's true.
Yeah, trash can fire orgy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Opinionated. We last left off where Casey was going to tell us how to build a proper birdhouse for springtime.
Hey.
You know what's interesting is that we do the once a month, the first weekend of the month, Home Depot has a kids workshop, and you get like this little kit with wood and nails and screws and all kinds of shit. And we always take Xander on the first of the month. And this last one, we actually built a birdhouse. Mm-hmm.
Well, see,
that's awesome.
You're well equipped to take us through there. So what's the first step?
Well, I mean, it was prefabbed, and so we just followed the instructions to put it together. And
did you say prefab?
And GE does that part. GE does the, like hammer and nails and screwing part, and I do the painting and stuff.
That reminds me of
that reminds me of he's good at the screwing part.
I was going to say that reminds me of a fraternity. In my fraternity, we had we proposed an idea for a shirt. It didn't pass, but it was going to be like, okay, the name of our fraternity and then construction on the front. And then on the back, it said, we screw, we nut, we bolt. That would never pass today. That would never pass today. It didn't pass then, but that just screams sexual harassment. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I actually made one of those the Home Depot things. I think I made one at Lowe's.
Yeah.
It was a napkin holder when I was younger. So I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
they actually don't do them at Lowe's anymore, but they used to. But they don't have them
Yep.
anymore at Lowe's. They only do them at Home Depot. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-mm.
So at the start of the show, there was we played the first half of the Regism. The Flat album will the Flat album drops tonight at midnight.
Yes.
I have uploaded it. It's 19 different songs.
Oh, wow.
All that are used in the Flatterday Nights, as well as some tracks featuring some of your favorite people you love to hate. Nathan Oakley is in, Dale, Jaronism, and Jaronism has his own separate song called Interesting that is very interesting.
You're such a
That's
dip.
interesting.
It's like a good kind, the good kind, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
some hidden Easter eggs in these. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy with the way that it came out. Also,
that chick, a few random things, says I got in trouble for making dicks on the CNC machine in the shop.
on the what machine?
CNC.
What is that?
Computer controlled milling, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
For making dicks on there, she sounds like my kind of person.
Well,
But,
Kyle is the
yes.
one who makes these songs. Somebody in the chat asked who makes these songs. Kyle does, because Kyle, I don't know if you know this about him, but he is talented in many areas. And music is apparently one of them. Also out right now, if you can't wait until midnight tonight to get your copy of what's
Sounds
the album
Flat.
called? Sounds Flat.
Sounds
If you can't wait to get your copy of Sounds Flat, I mean, still go and get it. But you can also get Fallacious, which is out right now, and it is fantastic. So
Mhm. It is the theme to actually Opinionated. So
yeah,
and Shannon joins the lineup next week with the show that we're going to do called Qspiracy, and there is a nod to that as well in this album. So actually,
Awesome.
that is the only song that has lyrics. I was able to get somebody to do a couple things, and that is actually a song with verses and stuff. So the whole entire album I think is good. You guys can let me know, but it'll be available on Spotify and iTunes, Deezer, Amazon, YouTube, SoundCloud, everywhere that you get music, you can get that as well. Tomorrow we have
You should have got her to sing. You should have got Shannon to sing on there.
You know, I thought about that, but I had already had like the majority of it. I've been working on this one for probably 3 months now, and I had already had that one in the can, as they say. But when I learned that she actually does sing professionally, I will have to use her in the future. But she actually does sing. She used to sing professionally. She doesn't anymore. But she did really good when she came on to sing "Happy Birthday to Steve."
Yeah, you know who else you should feature in your next album, singing wise?
Who?
My husband. Everybody knows he's an
I
exception.
should. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that then. Let's do that. We will do John and Shannon together. How about that?
John and Shannon, that would be fantastic.
You have
That would
to
be
have the
amazing.
ukulele.
And John can play the
I
ukulele.
was gonna say you have
Yes.
to have. The
He's gotta play it,
ukulele
yeah.
in there.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
I know the name of it already. Well, here's what we'll do. The song will be called Mean Comments, and we will string together mean comments from him and Shannon into a perfectly well-versed song that will be hilarious.
I think that sounds fantastic. Honey, I signed you up for a song on the next Non-Sec album with Shannon. You're going to be singing. Yeah.
He's got his first gig.
You've made it. You've made it. Tomorrow we're going to have a debate. Let me make sure I get I want to make sure I put it out there correctly. The debate is going to be on the resurrection of Jesus.
Is that the Nathaniel Walters one?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
How do you two know each other?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Okay. I like how I said the resurrection of Jesus, like I would be talking about anyone else. Is there anybody else that has a famous resurrection story besides
Yeah.
Besides, what's his face?
Honey, is there anyone else who has a famous resurrection story?
There's a couple.
There's a couple.
Well, besides Robert Downey Jr.
Besides Robert Downey Jr.
Because his career was in the tank. He resurrected that.
He said still a couple.
Yeah. Good. Is there a Kent Hovind song yet? Nope, but that's a good idea too.
Oh God,
that is a good idea. Okay, so tonight we're going to be having a talk with Justin. Justin, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice. Yeah, I've been watching for a while, probably a year. It's been like I found you guys pretty early with the flat Earth stuff. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite? What's been your favorite one to date?
I got the one with Dale and was it Scotty? No, it was Dale and some guy. That one was good, and then probably the Jeranism and Red's Verdict. That one was just that
was epic.
That was pretty awesome. So
Dale and Gavin,
that was it. Yeah, Dale was just like shed raging pretty hard in that one. So that he's pretty funny. I love the Dale soundboard. So
and by the way, I forgot to do this the other day, but happy tax day, Kent. Happy tax day. Okay, so Casey, do you have anything at the start that you want to announce, put out there, say, get out of the way?
Not particularly. I have a midterm next week in probabilities and shit. Does anybody want to take it for me? Just never mind.
That's all you do is midterms and exams.
I'm almost done though. I'm almost done. Sort of. I have 2 more classes after this one, but after almost 3 years, I'm ready to be done.
I bet.
What are you going to school for?
I'm getting my master's in systems engineering.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Get them big bucks.
Sounds a whole lot. Sounds like a whole lot of not fun, huh? Yeah.
By the way, are you still married? I just want to make sure that the marriage that I presided over is still going strong. Okay, good. That would be.
I am. John said regretfully.
You're still.
You better watch out.
You're still 1 for 1, Kyle.
Yeah.
What was the other one? 1 for okay, got you. That was my mistake. I misunderstood that. Okay, let's start out by having you, Justin, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then plug your channel, because you do. By the way, you told us before the start of the show that you recently just got to 5,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone. So congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Definitely.
So my name is Justin Holland. And I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, so I'm in North Carolina, and that's where I was born and raised. And as far as like content creation and YouTube, I post mainly on YouTube, and I started making YouTube videos when I actually went blind. That was kind of when I went blind. That was like kind of I had this like aha moment of that'll definitely like help me stick out. And most of my videos that I make are really like about my life, documenting my life, and about fitness, because that's what I really enjoy, physical fitness and being active even though I'm blind. So that's what a lot of my content is weightlifting, sports, and stuff like that, and just really documenting my life as a blind person. And yeah, if you search my name, Justin Holland, or if you search blind bodybuilder or anything like that, you'll find yours truly. And yeah, I've been making videos for probably like a little over 2 years. The past year's been a little inconsistent, but I'm hopefully about to get back uploading pretty consistently. But yeah, I just crossed over 5,000 subscribers, which is pretty exciting. And I know you guys understand that a lot of work goes into making videos, and it pays off when people actually recognize it. So yeah, I mean, if you want to find me, that's where you can find me, is Justin Holland on YouTube, and all of my other social media and stuff like that's linked somewhere on my YouTube. It's in every description box. But yeah, so
excellent. So you're in North Carolina. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm in Gaston County actually, but I say Charlotte because most people don't. I'm actually from a town called Stanley, but it's pretty small, and most people
I
don't know
know
what
that well.
Stanley is. But
I
yeah,
know that well. I used to have a restaurant in Salisbury.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, North Carolina. I
pretty
know
cool.
you're in somewhere in North. I know last hurricane season you were talking about the hurricanes, and it
Yeah,
was whipping around here too. So
yeah. I'm in Greensboro now,
hmm
so right
yeah,
in the
that's
middle of
crazy.
the state. So okay, and I said this last night, and congratulations is in order. You recently got engaged, correct?
I I did last, oh goodness, November, right after Thanksgiving. I got engaged, so that was really exciting to my beautiful fiance. Which that video is on my channel. It's on there. It's one of the not recent ones, but it's a little bit back. But you'll see it. There's I'm sure you know Kyle, Crowder's Mountain is actually the mountain
Mm-hmm.
that we hiked up, and that's where I popped the question. And
Aw,
my
that's awesome.
it was well, I've been hiking there quite a bit, and because it's only like 30 minutes, 45 minutes away, and I before I went blind, I actually hiked this same trail, and I can tell you the trail's a whole lot harder not being able to see. It was a pretty strenuous hike up to the top. So, but we got up to the top, and yeah, so it was very exciting. So thank you.
It is a very, very, very touching video, I must say. That was very well done. And
Well,
just
thank you.
just putting this out there, when it comes wedding time, if you need a reverend to marry you, I am ordained and I have a good record. The wedding that I have done is still intact. So just saying. It's not me. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And
I'll keep that in
he does
mind.
he does an excellent job. If he
That's awesome.
had somewhere I could give him a rating, I would give him 5 stars. Yeah.
Do they have
We'll have
those?
to
Do they
start
have
him up like that.
I
ratemypriest.com?
don't well, not
Oh, that,
priests, but like wedding officiants. Like there are websites where you can go and like not register as a wedding officiant, but like submit your name so they'll put you on a list, because there's a lot of people who charge for that. Like they'll I mean, I don't know how much they charge, but
I feel like it's like
you
like
can go.
$100 or something.
Yeah, but I mean, people don't usually charge too much to officiate weddings, but I mean, if you did a couple a month, you could
I would
make
do it.
some okay side money.
I would do it for a glass of wine
Yeah.
and a piece of wedding cake. That would be a good payment for me. Maybe a
I
high
gave
five
you
too.
both of those things.
I know. That's
Hey.
that's
And
that's why.
cereal.
Yes, that which was most important. So I have somebody in the chat wanting you to show the guns, Justin.
Oh no,
They
I'm in
want
a
to see.
sweatshirt.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I can. I have a tank top. Well, I have a tank top, so if I need to, but yeah. So
Well, it's up to you.
I feel like he's being objectified.
They would get a kick out of that, I think. But by the way, before we jump in, Casey,
you'll
do
have
you
to
want to
stay
show?
tuned. How about that? We'll have to make.
That'll work.
What?
Show your mug, Casey.
Oh. I'm drinking
Now-
out of my bitch made mug. Why you so
so-
bitch made?
Yeah,
Yes, this is on the Non-Sec Teespring store.
it is.
So if
Or
you
you can
want
go
this,
to-
you can go there and buy it.
nonsexshow.com/merch. All right,
There you go.
Justin. So just to kick us off, why don't you tell us what it is that you are, the name of the disease that you're
It's a
dealing with?
disease.
Yeah.
I don't like the word disease, but it sounds really bad when you
I
say
don't
it like
either.
that. But I guess I call it a condition. But so yeah, it's called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, or most people just say like LHON, or the acronym or whatever. But it's actually a genetic condition that it has to do with the optic nerve. So I was 20 years old, so 3 years ago. I'm 23 now, and it's actually exactly 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago in April when it started. When I started going blind, I was actually kind of like, fun fact, I was going to school for mechanical engineering. So I was in my third year. I was a junior, third year, second semester for mechanical engineering, and that's when it kind of started. I noticed a little spot in my left eye, and it was like this little spot in the central vision, because that's what the disease or the condition causes, is to lose central vision, but then it eventually spreads out from there. But it started in just my left eye, and like in my head I thought it was I just need to go get new glasses because I lost my old glasses, and I was just like putting it off because they're expensive and stuff like that. But I went, I went to the doctor, the eye doctor, and the optometrist, and they did some tests, and then they didn't know what was going on because it wasn't like a blurry spot. It was like a literal blind spot where there was nothing that could be seen there. And then that's when it kind of all started, was April of 2016. And then it took 2 weeks, and then they noticed I went to another, like I can't even count how many like eye visits. I went to eventually a neuro ophthalmologist, which is, they're a nerve specialist with the eye. And that's when I just had so many tests done on my eyes and everything, and pictures taken. And they told me that it's not just in my left eye, it's in my right eye. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling. And from April until June 1st was when I was declared legally blind. And I was driving. That was scary. I was driving that day. Actually, I was late to meet my mom, and I was driving on the road, and I definitely shouldn't have been. And I have a video on my channel talking about that kind of experience. But so it took until June for them to diagnose me, or not diagnose me, but until I was legally blind. And then it took until August until they sent off the genetic testing, and they came back and said, this is what you actually have, which is, LHON or Labor's, or
How do you how is it a genetic thing? Like you didn't do anything to,
Okay.
there's nothing that happened that sort of set this off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was born with it, and obviously I had perfect vision pretty much until I was 18 or 19. Then I finally got glasses, which I have astigmatism, which I still have that, but that is irrelevant to the fact of this condition, this disease. But it doesn't usually. You don't have the symptoms, or you don't go blind, or you don't lose your sight until most commonly early 20s. Sometimes it's late 20s. Sometimes it's early 30s. Sometimes it's late 30s. And that's the weird thing about this condition or this disease, is they don't know what necessarily triggers it. They say stress on the body, which drinking, smoking, and things like that, they say influences it, but there's really no studies to really back that up. And that's why they just don't know much about it. And actually, so the actual mutation is in the mitochondria of the cell. And with biology, the female, so my mom is the one that I don't know the exact terms, but the female is the one that's in charge. When they procreate or have babies, they are the ones that give the DNA for the mitochondria, not the male. So my mom is the one that actually has the actual gene, the one that has the mutation that passed it down. And a great example is I'm 23 right now. My brother is 28, I think. Yeah, 28. And there's nothing wrong with him. He can see perfectly fine. But 5 years from now, 1 year from now, 5 months from now, you never know that he could start losing his sight as well. And that's the thing. It's kind of, they don't really know what exactly triggers it. But it is more common. It's more common in males other than females, but females can still have the sight loss as well. It's just, for whatever reason, it's more common in males.
Mm-hmm.
So
you alluded there for a second about when you were driving. What happened there?
Okay, so I moved home from college. I couldn't finish really going to school for that semester, especially because my sight was going so fast. It was by June, and honestly, it was in April, and by the time it was time to take exams and final exams, there was no way that I could actually read print on a paper or anything like that. So, I moved home, but I was still driving, and I probably shouldn't have been. My parents, a lot of my friends and family were asking, "Are you sure you should be driving?" And I shouldn't have been. It was really stupid, honestly, looking back at it. But the whole reason I was going for mechanical engineering is because I love cars. I love anything with a motor. That was what I was hopefully going to go into. But Yeah, I was still driving, and I remember one time I was driving down the road, and this truck kind of like pulled out in front of me, and I didn't. I mean, it was in the center of my eye. Like I would drive, like I know you guys are right here in front of me, but I would drive. My right eye was the second one to go, so I would look like this, like because I could see over here, and I would drive looking a little to the side, which. But that truck pulled out in front of me, and I didn't see it, and then I finally saw it, and I slammed on brakes, and the anti-lock brake system on my car wasn't working because I just fixed my car due to a wreck that I had like a couple years before. But I fixed my car and I didn't hook the anti-lock brakes back up due to a wiring issue that happened. But I hit the brakes and all four tires locked up, and it was like almost like you were skating on ice, and I slid over into the left lane in head-on traffic, and I luckily like got it corrected. But that was probably one of the scariest moments of my life because that's when I realized, I was like, dude, you're an idiot for actually just even driving. And what really kills me about it now is looking back, it's like I did put myself in danger, but I put other people in danger, and that's what was really like stupid about doing that. But yeah, I didn't really after that. Like I said, June 1st was when I stopped driving for good. So
Did you let Jesus take the wheel? Is that what you credit your?
Yep, Carrie Underwood was right there with me.
Good deal.
I think that's her. That's all.
So you essentially lost your sight extremely quickly. Like this wasn't something that gradually over the years took place. This was one day you're seeing fine, and then months to a year later you can't see anything.
Yeah, like it's quick, but it's like I guess it's quick, but it's not quick because sometimes I think, well, some people say, it happened quickly, but then I think some people have a car accident and they wake up and they're blind. So that to me is like really quick. But then there's also like macular degeneration, retinitis pigmentosa. There's all kinds of other types of blindnesses out there that it takes 10, 15, 20 years for you actually through the process. So it depends on, I guess, how you're looking at it. But yeah, it took about 6 months to 8 months to actually lose my sight. So it was pretty quick, and there was a lot of changes that happened over those 6 to 8 months. Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I kind of want to dive into. Oh, go ahead, Casey.
Well, sorry, there was actually there's a viewer who is in the chat right now and has a condition that causes blindness, and so her question is actually applicable to this.
Okay.
She asked how did you accept it and come to terms with knowing you're going blind, like on a mental and emotional level? Like, were you mad? Did you go through like stages of grieving kind of things? Were you scared?
So that was like, I guess the like one of the biggest things was I never knew, because there's people that have the same condition, labors, that I have, that can walk, that like they can still read with a magnifier. Like there's a wide range of like sight loss, I guess you could say. But for me, so I never knew when it was going to stop. And I actually worked in a restaurant when I moved home because, I have to make money. I have to eat. I have to live somehow. And when I moved home from school, I worked in a restaurant as a food runner because I knew like one of the easiest places to get a job was in a restaurant. I waited tables while I was in college, but I would always, when people would ask me about it, I would always say, I think it's done progressing. I don't think it's going to get any worse. I think this is the way it's going to stay. But a week, 2 weeks later, it would keep going. And definitely driving, when they took my life, when the doctor walked in, she says, "Are you still driving?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, you're not anymore." It was like, it definitely hit me. But the thing that kept me going was, you can look at it two different ways. You can look at it as me being positive, saying it's not going to keep progressing, or you can look at it like I was in denial of going blind. And I think that was more or less what it was. I was in denial that it was going to keep going, going back to the driving example. And then there was just a lot of things going through, like working. I would like to consider myself as, smart, or if I wanted to learn something, I could go and learn something. It was up to me if I wanted to figure something out. And then when I worked in a restaurant and I couldn't read a ticket, I couldn't as simple as reading a table number off of a ticket, I couldn't do just because of my blindness. It did. It definitely started to get to me. And I think, as bad as it is, I think anger and frustration is definitely the outlets that I took to handle it, just because I couldn't do anything else about it. And I think that was, there was never this. In August, when they diagnosed me, when they, after a month and the genetic test results came back, and they said, yeah, this is what you have. Because, after that, they like, this is what you have, and there's nothing we can do about it. So all the doctor visits stopped. There was nothing. That was like kind of the dead end road, because there was nothing that they could do. So after that, it kind of finally hit me that you're going to be blind. You're going to have to live this way, and there's nothing else to do. There's nothing I can do about it other than living with it. And frustration, anger, those were the two biggest ones, because there's so many little things that you can't do without. I wouldn't say you can't do, but you have to do differently. And for me, being able to see, and then you take that away, it's like, this sucks. Because I'll put it this way in one simple statement. I say this a lot in my videos. It boils down to, I would be able to do this if I could still see. You know what I mean? This would not be a problem if I wasn't blind. And that's what really, when I say that really hits me hard, because it's something that I can't control, Well,
I can't. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I can't even imagine what you're going through. But the thing that I've taken away from your videos, and since I've watched them, is you're not willing to let it beat you, in a sense. Like, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to try to make life as normal as it was before, and just adjust how you do things. And to me, I think that is not only is it the best, it's the best attitude that you can adopt, but it really is an inspiration, because there are people who, I know there's somebody in the chat now that just said that they're happy that we're doing a show on blindness. And I think that you could be somebody that is a big inspiration. You have if you go and look at his videos, you'll see several of his thumbnails, him in the gym, and he has a quite the chiseled physique. And that, to me, lends people like me no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like you're dealing with going blind. You're dealing with not being able to see the weights that you're working with, and still doing it. And that's what I think that should be the takeaway. Like, no matter what, you're still doing it. You're still doing things in your life, and you're not letting it keep you down. And I think that's insanely inspiring.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I totally agree. And I know, last night I was watching the show last night, which was kind of funny. My fiance watches Bold and Beautiful and knew exactly who that guy was. But I was watching the show, and at the end, when he was talking about tonight's show with me, it's not going to be all sad, and it's not there's a lot of dark times, and there's a lot of depressing moments where I've laid in bed and just thought, and this is one thing too. It's when I think about, when you talked about it being scary, going blind, it's a little scary. I grew up, and I could see my mom and dad. I could see my dog Cooper. Now my guide dog, I've never seen him before. And that was one thing that I started thinking about as someone who's 21, 22 years old. It's like, if there is a cure, that's going to be so amazing. But if there's never a cure, I'm never going to be able to see my kids. And that's that's a weird feeling. That's kind of scary, to be honest. It's and there's nothing I could do about it. But also, it's not all negative. I live a obscenely normal life. People don't know that I'm blind. It's really funny. I play jokes on a lot of people when we go out in public. If you watch my videos and you know who I am, it's never. Sometimes I do get frustrated. Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes it upsets me. But most of the time, I'm the kind of person that wants to joke, laugh, have fun, and just enjoy life no matter what. And that's the way that, like, you know, like I was talking about, you know, that's the way I feel it should be.
Absolutely. Casey, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was gonna ask you, is bodybuilding something that you did before you started going blind,
Okay.
or is that something that you did to like as a coping?
hmm Okay, so I know I'm going to use Fight Flat Earth as an example because I've heard him say this, and it really hit home kind of with me because he said something about, because you know, he's disabled in the sense that I'm pretty sure he's in a wheelchair. I've never, you know, seen him obviously, but he talks about how YouTube gave him this sense of being able to do something that he enjoys. And I've always been into fitness. I've always, like, ever since I was like 14 or 15, I was like kind of like the small kid that got picked on for being small. So that's what drove me into it. But I was always into working out and fitness. And then when I started going blind, I definitely used that as something to cope with. And then I found out about, it'd be cool if I could figure out how to make YouTube videos even though I'm blind. And that's, you know, I figured that out. I learned how to do that. And it kept me busy. It's something that I've always enjoyed doing. It's something I love doing. And then that's when I was like, I'm going to, you know, I never competed in bodybuilding until I went blind. And then about a year after I went blind, that's when I competed in like my first show, which was quite an experience, not being able to see. Yeah, it was quite an experience.
How'd you do?
I didn't place, and I competed in an organization that kind of feeds in. It's called the NPC, and then it feeds into what's called IFBB, which stands for International Federation of Bodybuilding. But that's like your big dogs. And like we was talking about before the show, I made an April Fool's. I'm like completely natural, so I was competing against, you know, one guy actually went to my gym, and I know he's not natural, so I didn't do it to necessarily win a trophy. Yeah, I gave it everything I had, but no, I didn't place, and I learned a lot about it. I did everything myself, you know, as far as dieting, nutrition, workout, and stuff like that. So it's a big like working out, and the physical stress is hard, but the mental is what really messes with your mind. It messes with you, and that was like the biggest struggle I had, because I couldn't see, you know, all the other people I competed against could look in a mirror and see what they look like. And for me, I didn't know if I needed to be like leaner or if I needed to stay where I was at. It was all off of feel. So it's like a visual sport, and then you put someone that can't see in there. So,
But you did it.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I did it,
definitely.
and I view bodybuilding more as, it's not. I feel like bodybuilding has this stereotype that comes along with it as these these like meatheads up on stage in some Speedos. I feel like that's what people think about. But for me, it's like more of I would say it's more of art, if that makes sense. Especially if you watch, you know, my actual, I've competed in 2 shows now, and both of them, the actual posing routine, you get 60 seconds on stage by yourself. You get to pick the music. You get to create whatever you want to create. And for me, it's kind of a way of expression, if that makes sense. I don't know. I think of it a little different than most people.
I can totally agree with that. I have seen quite a few physiques that are definitely works of art. I will
hmm
I will 100% like Channing Tatum. Oh,
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him in Magic Mike.
Masterpiece. Masterpiece.
I wish I could move like Magic Mike was. Yeah, that was something.
It was phenomenal.
So,
It's like a
yeah.
it's like a Bible in movie form. Bible in movie form. So what was the there was a question in the live chat. Knowing given these 2 scenarios, and this is from the person I was telling you about that is also
Uh-huh.
blind. Would you have, looking back, would you rather it be the case that you were always blind, or
Oh,
yeah, this is a difficult question, or having been able to see things and you know, see the world, and then
yeah.
have that essentially taken away from you? Which of those would be worse?
So first off, when it comes to speaking on it, I can't speak as someone who was born blind. As far as like, and I know this is not the question, like which one is easier or which one's harder. So I can't really speak on any of that. But I'm definitely glad that I went blind when I was 20. And I've never left the country quite yet, but when I was 12 years old, and this is definitely one of the biggest experiences, I'm so glad I went on this trip. But when I was 12, my dad and my grandpa, we went on a trip along with like 10 other people, but we flew out to Phoenix, Arizona, and we shipped motorcycles. That's kind of like, I've always been around like cars and stuff like that, but my dad works on motorcycles, and we flew out there and we shipped our motorcycles to meet us there to kind of cut off a lot of the boring cornfields in between here and there. So, but we flew out there, and I went and I saw the Grand Canyon. I saw Las Vegas. I saw the California coast. It's like I saw all these things, redwood trees, and like I got to experience a lot of things that probably most people don't get to experience before they even die. And I saw that when I was 12 years old. And just seeing how like beautiful everything is. I mean, seeing is amazing. It's so amazing. And like, going back to the question, if I was born blind, I would never have gotten to experience those things. And this could be a whole subject, but I can still see in my dreams, which is freaky, really freaky.
Wow, that's fascinating. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I can see like people that I've seen before. I can see like as far as their face. So my fiance, me and her went to high school together, and we didn't talk much or we didn't date or anything in high school, but I know exactly what she looks like. I know exactly what her family looks like because I grew up playing sports. So sometimes in my dreams, I'll like literally see her, and it's weird in my dreams because it's really hard, as we all know, it's really hard to recognize when you're dreaming, to actually say, hey, I'm in a dream. I've only done that a couple times, and when I do, it freaks me out, and I wake up because I can see in my dreams. But yeah, most of the time I see people that I've seen before and places that I've seen before that I can. Yeah, it's just a weird thing. It's like, because yeah.
What was the somebody asked in the chat, did you start to learn how to do things as someone who's blind before you went completely blind? Like, they give the examples of like pouring drinks, that sort of thing. Did you practice that before going completely?
I wouldn't say that I practiced it, but like most of your everyday tasks, I definitely learned as I was going blind. I mean, my family, like I said, I laugh. I don't ever want to just sit down and say, woe is me, I'm going blind, like Eeyore or anything. So I was never down. So I would always my dad, like I stayed at my dad's house when I moved home from college. That's where I moved back in. And my dad's a jokester and just likes to play jokes and stuff. So he would hide stuff behind a box so I wouldn't find it. Mm-hmm. And things like that was good. It was funny. And a lot of the times I'd be like, all right, where's that? But it didn't, like I said earlier too, sometimes I was in a denial stage. So there was this lady, for example, a social worker for the state that will help get me aids that I need. So I have like a talking scale that I weigh myself on. I have a talking scale for the kitchen, and they have all kinds of tools for blind people. There's all kinds of things out there. But at first I was like, I don't need that, and things like that. And one of the biggest examples I can talk about is a white cane or a blind stick. I call it my blind stick, but the technical term is a cane. And that's like when you see a blind person walking with a stick out in front of them, it's called a long white cane. And I remember the lady came over. She's like, do you want to go through orientation and mobility training? And that's what it's called. And I was like, nah. I'm good. I don't need that. And then it wasn't even a week or two later, I was starting to run into things. I told my mom, I was like, you might want to call that lady back up. And she did. So I was a little behind when it came to, I was never on top of it, to be honest, because I was thinking they're going to find that cure. They're going to tell me, hey, no big deal. Just take this thing and it's going to fix whatever's wrong. But of course, that was never the case. And then I would say when I got my cane, that was when I really started to accept and start to learn what I needed to learn, and start to adapt to living life without being able to see.
Mm-hmm. What's been the most difficult thing to adjust to? And I'm just sitting here in my mind trying to think of every little. I mean, it would just completely change, I'm sure it has completely changed how you do everything, because
Yeah.
there's so many little things that you don't think of, like the pouring the drinks example. Like, how do you know when you've gotten to the top of a glass, or like how do you cope with it, and what's been the hardest thing to adjust to?
With drinks, I'll tell you, with drinks, like I make protein shakes all the time, like in the gym when I get done my workout, or at home I pour a glass of milk, glass of water, or whatever. Most of the time at home I will hold it over the sink just in case. They make these little tools you can hang, and what it is basically two little like tits, and then when the drink, you got to connect the two, but the liquid will connect it and it'll buzz. But I don't, that to me is like not that efficient, I guess. I've learned to just, like, especially with drinks, I'll learn either off of the sound or off of how much the glass starts to weigh when I pour it. And stuff like that, you learn all kinds of tricks. You can hold your finger down in it and feel it. And like you said, though, everything is affected really. When it comes, I mean, finding stuff in the fridge, there's all kinds of stuff, but the hardest I have to say is definitely walking. That's a weird feeling. It's walking with a cane, and my guide dog made it, and he's right here. Diesel, you probably can't see him, but I have his collar jingles so I can hear where he walks.
But we would love to. What kind of dog is it?
He's a chocolate lab. I have a laptop, but hopefully I don't know if you can see him.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He's cute.
Oh my gosh, how cute is that dog? What's his name?
But Diesel.
Diesel, nice.
Yeah. Which I didn't. They actually picked that for us. We don't get to choose their names. But that to me was the hardest thing to cope with, was walking. It's just the best way I can describe the feeling is you constantly feel like. So for me, when I played baseball and you're watching the ball and you're running towards a fence, that fence could be 20 yards away or it could be 5 feet away. But it always, when you feel like you're getting close, it feels like it's like right there about to hit you. And that's kind of what it feels like when you walk, before, like, getting used to it. There's all kinds of feelings. I've had all kinds of people, like, they'll open a door for me and they'll be like, all right, go ahead. And I just can't trust them. I've got to find the door, and I've got to find, because I've walked into several things. And, so it's
And how much has Diesel impacted your life? Like, that to me seems like he's just like, that'd be my best friend. You know what I mean? Like, they're amazing at what they do.
Yeah, I got him a year after. Probably like a year after getting my white cane. So I got him pretty soon. Most people, it depends. I got him pretty quick. I got him a year after going blind, and I've had him for a year and a half now. But wow, when I flew, I was in New York 3 weeks, like, training with him. And I actually have a playlist, if you go on my channel, called Guide Dog School. And there's like 6 videos or so, kind of. I didn't want to make them too repetitive, but they're kind of like vlogs and interesting videos talking about the experience up there. But when I first walked with him, I honestly couldn't stop smiling. I couldn't stop laughing, because the first time walking with him, I'm holding on to his harness, and all that was going through my mind is I'm walking down the street probably 2 or 3 times faster than I used to walk with a cane. And a dog is doing something that I can't do. He's walking and seeing and dodging me around things, and I can't even do that because I can't see. And he's completely transformed my life. Yeah, I mean, from that just to, like you're saying, I get to take my best friend everywhere. And if someone says I can't, then yeah, I can. It's federal law. So
that was going to be my next question. Do you? I see YouTube videos sometimes of people with service animals, and sometimes they have quite a time with different either businesses, restaurants, trying to fight them on bringing their service dog in. Have you ran into any of that?
So one time, and it was actually my second bodybuilding competition. It was down in Texas, and it was at this club, which I'm not a club person. The only reason I was really going to this like bar club ordeal was it was a after party for. I mean, it was the night after the same day of the competition. So a lot of the competitors, the YouTuber, the influencer that hosted the show was going to be there. So I was just going to kind of network and talk to people and have a good time. I mean, I was going with my mom and my girlfriend at the time. So we showed up, and they instantly started saying something when I was getting out of the car with him. The valet guy was like, "You can't take a dog in there." And I was like, "Well, he's a service animal. It's a little different." And he's like, "No, you still can't take him in there." I'm like, at that point I started to ignore him. And I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet, but when you start just like discriminating against me because I'm over something I can't control, like especially me being blind, that's gonna start getting my blood to boil a little bit. And I have the video on my channel, and it's something about a club owner harassing or discriminating me. But I got up to the door where the guys let you in, and they just kept saying, "No, we can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it." And what was really despicable was there was a sheriff and then another police officer, I think, came up halfway through, and they're probably 10 feet away just watching this happen. And it's a federal law. It's Americans Disability Act. It's a federal law that if it's a public place, you can't deny me access. And they just kept trying to make excuses. And I eventually left and, went home. I was like, I don't want to, even if they said I could go in, I don't want to give someone my money that is going to be like that. And I will say though, after I posted the video, their reviews on Facebook, they have like 27,000 followers, likes on their Facebook page for the business page. And their reviews went from 4.5, 4.6 down to like 3.2. So if you go to there, it's called
what's the name of this place? Let's see if we can't get it down a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Club Clay. But it's Club Clay of Houston. CLE with I can't tell you what the thing is above the E, but that's what it's called. CLE, Club Clay of Houston. And if you go on there on Facebook, that's the main one that I shared. The video on Facebook got like 6,000, 7,000 views and a lot of shares. But yeah, my review will be at the top, I'm pretty sure, because it has the most interaction on it. So that's that worked for me. I didn't want to get anything out of it. Yeah.
Fuck you, Club Clay.
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully they've learned. Like to me, that's the point of the negative review, and you absolutely were well within your rights to do so. But hopefully they learn from that and will not treat anybody else that way again. I mean, ideally, that's.
And the thing is, it's like, it's not even in the video. It's like, it's not like the only way you can deny me access is if my dog is absurdly disgusting, like dirty, smelly, which it was not the case. And if he's being aggressive, which if you ever see, like if my dog wasn't aggressive, I would probably be, I don't even know what would be going on. But that was not the case. And that was the whole point of doing it, is to raise awareness that's not okay. They kept trying to say about, even one of the comments on the review is like, whether this place has a pool, because they have pool parties there too. And they were like, well, if you walked in there with him, you might have went in the pool. I'm like, dude, the whole point of my dog is to keep me from falling in the pool. That's what he does.
What how would this is just a random question, but how would Diesel sort of act in a club, in that kind of environment where there's like music going, like how would Diesel
lights,
So I'll be honest, there is a few places that I don't really like or will take Diesel if I can. Now if I can't do anything about it, I'll try to make the best circumstances, and concerts is kind of one of those places, because dogs have better hearing than we do. So when it's really, really loud places, I try not to take him, but if there's no other option, I will, and I'll just go to the quietest place around there. But no, he'll do exactly what he's doing right now. He'll lay down and just might go to sleep. But yeah, he just lays there. I've never had him do anything other than just lay. Usually, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been out in a restaurant. I've been out even in maybe a little bit louder environment or some crazy place, and someone comes up to me and I mean, it happens in the gym. They're like, "Where's your dog? You didn't bring your dog?" And I'm like, "He's right over there." And they're like, "I never even saw him." So yeah,
Oh.
he's adorable, and they just lounge around. I've never had. I mean, a great example is there's this expo, or it's a sports. I mean, the Arnold Classic Sports Festival. It's in Ohio. It's like one of the biggest with bodybuilding, with anything. It's a sport. It's the best way I can like describe that place is a miniature Olympics. It is like there's cheer competitions, there's axe throwing, I mean, but there was I went strictly for just to meet people and stuff like that, which I probably never will go back, just because of there was, I would say, 100,000 plus people there, and
Wow.
Diesel did. I had, of course, Diesel doesn't know where I'm going. He just knows how to dodge me around and alert me of things. He works in straight lines. But my dad was behind me telling me where to go, and I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder. I don't know how it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind how amazing that they are. And other than sniffing a few spandex girls, he did really good. So,
Wait, what was that?
so there was a lot, it's a fitness thing. So there's a lot of girls wearing like leggings and stuff. And every now and then my dad would start laughing. I'm like, what? And he goes, Diesel definitely just was sniffing. He would walk past the girl and his nose would start going.
Oh, good boy, Diesel. Dogs are amazing, aren't they? I mean, the things that they can do is just unbelievable.
It is. I mean, even when I was in New York for 3 weeks, we went to one day. So White Plains is where we did most of our training. And then one day out of the 3 weeks, we went to Manhattan. And that was the first time I've been to Manhattan. I've never, I've seen it on movies, but I've never actually went when I could see. And the sounds, the smells, but the sounds and everything was just like, I went there Thanksgiving, and it was the last week. So it was like December 5th when I went. So we went to where the big tree is, the ice skating rink, and Grand Central Station. But it was so packed, and still with all these like distractions, noise, smells, I don't know. It blows my mind. So I don't know.
Do your other senses, now that your sight's going, do your other senses get intensified? Like, can you smell things more prominently now, or hear things? Has it affected any of your other senses?
So I wouldn't say so. A lot of the times I would say it's a misconception. A lot of people think like if you lose your sight, your hearing gets better, or your smell gets better, or it's heightened. I wouldn't say like any of my senses have necessarily improved or gotten better, but the best way I can describe it is focus. So there's like no possible way when I walk into the gym, as an example, there's no way that I could possibly focus on seeing something. I can't focus on reading something or looking at someone. So I naturally focus on hearing, especially hearing. I think that's the hearing and smell obviously are the two biggest ones that I naturally focus on more. And especially hearing, it helps a ton with navigation. And I could walk in the gym and pretty much tell you if someone's on the machine that I want to go get on. It's like I just know you just naturally kind of pick up on it and focus on your other senses a little bit more. And I would say I'm a little bit quicker to do it too, because it's so funny. Just sometimes I'll smell something and I'll instantly just pick up on whatever it is. And I think it's just a focus thing.
That makes sense.
Have
Go ahead, Casey.
Did you learn Braille, or is there enough stuff that's like audio that you don't really need to do that?
So I've started learning Braille. I know 20 letters. I think the biggest reason I haven't learned fully everything with Braille is like you're saying, I just don't, like going through my everyday life, like I can even show you guys. I might be able to show you my computer the way it sounds. I don't know if you can hear that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's called voiceover, and that's the way that I use technology. And that was an email from Gmail about something with PayPal. But it like everything is so like more accessible now. It's one of those things, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And I haven't even learned it. So it's like I don't know how I'm gonna really pick up on. I mean, I know certain letters, but it's just I do need to kind of continue to learn it, but I just don't really know how much I'm really going to use it. So I don't. Braille's kind of. I think it is kind of on its way out, but it will always be around because without
Well, I mean,
Braille,
it's not like you need it to read because everything's an audiobook, you know? So like, but I mean, like with ATMs and things like that, where they have like the Braille on some of the numbers. But I mean, there's only a few numbers. You know what I mean? And they're always in the same order. And
it's usually always 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So like I don't know that I think you could probably get away with the basics.
Yeah. And I have a really good memory, really, really good memory. So just like the microwave, the oven, all these things that some people, they might use Braille to like tactile it. I mean, I do have a Braille labeler where I could punch out things in Braille, but I've learned the way I've learned to live my life. I've not used it that much, and I just don't see it necessary really. And like you're saying with audiobooks, and an example, when you go out to eat, and if I like really needed a Braille menu, that thing is like getting the Bible and sitting it on the table. It's so big for the menu. It's like, I would starve to death before I ever found out something to eat.
Have you ever heard of the one of the first podcasts that we did on this channel?
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, the Be My Eyes.
Yeah.
Have you used that app?
Oh yeah. I don't use it often now because usually my fiance, she's a hairdresser, and most of the time what I'll do is I can either FaceTime her, or I can, if I need help on the computer, trying to FaceTime and then show her the screen is trying to get the camera to focus is way harder. So I can just like go to Skype and screen share. But before, I was dating her or anything, I used it a good bit actually. It's really awesome. And anybody like, listening in the live chat, if you ever have spare time and you want to just do something and feel good about yourself, download Be My Eyes and volunteer, because I can tell you every time that I have needed to use it, whether it be reading instructions for something to cook, trying to find something in my house. I remember one time I was going on a date and I was like, I would like to match. So I went on there and I was like, I was wanting a red shirt with like khaki pants, and the lady helped me. So it's just, and I've never had a problem with connecting. It's always been within 20 seconds of waiting, someone will pop up. Super nice people, and always very, very helpful, really nice people. And that I remember, I didn't see the full episode, but I remember maybe a month, 2 months back, I heard that you mentioned that on one of the episodes, and I was like, oh wow! I was like, I instantly knew who you were talking about. And I don't know if you heard, but Google, like the Alexa for Amazon, they have the Google. I don't know what it's called. But now you can actually Be My Eyes got in contact with Google, and now you can get assistance through the Google, whatever that home. Yeah, that just came out a few weeks ago.
Let me tell you, the guy's name is Hans. Yes, Hans Jorgen. He is a inspiration. We were I was so happy that we got him on and to hear his story and what that app actually does. And for people who don't know, Be My Eyes is sort of like it's sort of like a way to Skype somebody, and like if for me, for example, and Steve and I did this too. We signed up, and somebody, if they're blind or can't see, and they're looking through their cabinets and they're cooking something, and they want to know they want which which of these cans is beans. They'll just hold up. They'll ask you that question, and the way that you do it is you sign up at BeMyEyes.com, and they'll alert you anytime somebody needs. You can set the hours that you want to be available, and anytime somebody that has a sight impairment, you just put the window that you want to be open. They'll alert you when they have a question, and it'll bring it up on video chat, and they ask you, which of these cans is the baked beans, and it's a simple way to do a very easy thing anywhere you are that helps people out tremendously. And as Justin said, the guy's just amazing. If you haven't listened to that episode, this was way back before we even started doing YouTube. Like there isn't a video on this. It's just the audio. It's just the audio version, because we uploaded it to iTunes, and then we were like, well, maybe we should put these on YouTube. So this was before we even started doing YouTube. But the guy is unbelievably inspiring, and his story and what he went through to put this app together, and where the app is today is just unbelievable. So if you can, definitely check that out. Be My Eyes is the name of the app, and you can do just really amazing things in any location that you are for any time that you want.
Yeah, and someone on the other end, like, that needs the help, because you go on there, and I don't know if it's still like this, but when I first got it, it says number of volunteers, number of like visually impaired users, and I remember the volunteers was like 350,000 or something. Now it's well over 1 million.
Oh, it's there are 125,000, over 125,000 blind, and over 2 million volunteers.
Yeah, and that's what's like. And the ratio needs to be that way. It really does, because like Kyle was saying, it can take a sighted person 3 seconds to go to the pantry, open it up and say, oh, there's my beans. But for me, I just don't know. I could open them up and then I'd have 5 open cans. So it's like something that simple helps someone that can't see a ton. It definitely goes a long way and is much appreciated.
That's so touching that you used it for your. Did the date go well?
Oh yeah. Well, it's not my fiance, but it went well.
Don't tell anybody. This is totally not on YouTube.
Sorry.
No. It was like probably. It was probably like 6 months, 8 months before we even like hung out. I mean, it went well, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Dating as a blind person, well, I was about to say, like, since I know what my fiance looks like, it's a different story, but dating as a blind person can be interesting.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I was going to ask the sort of how that's impacted dating and relationships. How would you, you don't have to dive into anything personal if you don't want to. Just tell us what you want to know. But how's that changed?
So, now, of course, I am engaged. And with us, it was pretty, it wasn't weird at all. Really, I don't guess. Like, she never been around a blind person before. But for me, like, now especially, I don't really care what others think. But I say that in a good way, not as like, I don't care what you think. But, I say it in a way that, I'm blind, and that's, it's my life. So I don't really care what other people think if I do something weird, funny, or whatever. But it can be different. One of the good examples is on a date, not with her, but like another person. It's like you go out with someone you don't know. For one, I don't know what they look like until I meet them, and I still don't know what they look like. But and that's not everything, of course. But at the same time, it's just the physical attraction is still a part of a relationship in a sense. But beyond that, it's like we go out to eat. We go out to eat. Well, I definitely, when the waitress is like, hey, follow me. It's like, where are you going? Like, which way are you going? There's that. And then like I say, I don't know Braille. And most restaurants, to be honest, unless it's a super franchise chain, they're not going to have Braille menus. It's a waste of money for them. So they have to help me pick out what to eat. And then, hey, I need to use the restroom. I don't know where the restroom is, so they got to help me go to like at least find the restroom. And if it's a restaurant that I've been to countless times, then I can get myself to the restroom, and yes, I can. But if it's a new restaurant, I don't know where the restroom is, and then that's like the first step. When you go into a bathroom and you're blind, it can be kind of hard to find the toilet. Like, it can be quite a challenge. So there's all kinds of like little things that I wouldn't say it does make it a little bit more difficult, but it just makes it different in the end. Like me and my fiance, our relationship is great. Like really no complaints. We're normal. We are extremely happy and we have fun, and my blindness is no problem. I mean, yeah, there is the little things, like I said, like not being able to drive, not being able to do some things. She has to give me rides some places, but it's never been, I mean, if you find a person that's not going to care about them things, and it's not gonna affect it that much, but you do got to be patient. You know, if there is anybody that's blind, visually impaired, that's like feels that way, that, you know, I'm never going to find someone because they're going to just think I'm weird. It can feel that way, definitely, but I guess it just takes a little bit longer. You got to be a little bit more patient to find someone that they look past that. I mean, my fiance says all the time, I forget that you can't even see. So it's like most people that's close to me, they do say that, and man, that's usually the way it is. So
Do you find that it sort of made you be almost have to be when you're dating, right? And you know, you're trying to impress a girl that you're just starting out, like with your fiance. You have to get more creative almost in terms of what you do for dates, because you can't do the standard, you know, let's go out to eat and go see a movie, you know? So what's been some of the ways, the things that you've, the creative dates, I guess, or things that you've come up with?
Yeah. I mean, we can still go with movies. There's these things called audio descriptive movies. And they are on anybody on Netflix, Amazon Prime, check it out. Audio descriptive movies are amazing. I mean, it basically turns a movie into a book. It's so descriptive.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
If you go to Netflix, I think is the first ones that kind of, maybe I could be wrong about that, but they're definitely any Netflix original. I'm pretty sure most of them do. But if you go onto there, and if you're on like a desktop, you can scroll to the bottom and click on audio description, or audio descriptive. And on on your phone, like my phone, even it's accessible with voiceover, which is that what was talking earlier. But you can click on, it'll say like all genres at the top. You click it, and then you do only movies with audio description. And basically anything visual, there's someone that narrates it. And it can be weird. It's definitely weird at first, but it's super descriptive. So for me, if, you know, in a movie where one of the first movies I watched with it was called Adrift. Not sure if you guys have watched that movie or not. It's about a cell. It's a true story. It's a really good movie. But this lady that worked at the dock, and this guy that had a sailboat on the dock, you know, they were kind of flirting, but it was all visual. Like, you know, he was walking away and he looked back at her and he smirked, you know, kind of flirtatious. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I can still remember it. I can still visualize it because it's so descriptive. And Netflix has it, Amazon Prime has it, and it's really awesome that they do those things. And if any blind people, if you have not, I don't watch TV, to be honest. We don't have TV. We just have Netflix and Amazon Prime. And then I spend a lot of my time, honestly, watching YouTube, obviously. I mean, I spend a lot of time on watching you guys, but I watch most of the YouTube videos because, I mean, other than like flat earth evidence, there's still not much to see there, but like there's not much visuals to you guys to show. So, but yes, I mean, but when it comes back, it's
true. There would be, if you're talking about seeing evidence for the flat Earth, that's not going to happen.
Oh yeah. If you ever, the whole gravity thing, I find very hilarious. I mean, like I said, I was in the school for engineering, and I took a lot of physics classes. Yeah. I took a lot of physics classes, and I can tell you that gravity is a real thing. And I remember doing experiments in labs, and yeah, I remember doing the math problems too. It's really, it's a real thing. But
Have you ever heard of I believe it's called oh man, what's the name of that? I think it's called like Visual AI. I believe I can't remember the name of the app. Microsoft.
Yeah, I think maybe it's called. I have
Seeing
the app on
AI.
my phone. There you go. That's it.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
Devin is with us too now. Devin is
Hello?
also, he was in the chat and wanted to pop in, and he is also visually impaired. So I figured it might be cool to get. Yeah. Devin, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys too. I've been watching the show for a bit, and not just this episode, but several previous episodes, and just figured it'd be cool because not a lot of podcasts kind of cover the whole blindness thing, and I've been kind of advocating for more kind of blindness rights and everything for a long time. I'm actually a college student here in North Texas currently, so I figured it'd be cool to come on and kind of talk to you guys, kind of get the 2 cents in.
Awesome.
Justin,
Welcome.
this is Devin, Justin.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just asking Justin about that app that Microsoft puts out, where you can literally put. Now this is a true story. This is completely true. But I did this right. So you download this app, and it's got different settings, and you can hold your phone in front of something and either take a picture or just wait, and it'll tell you what it is that you're looking at. So I held it up to my face. And I smiled, and it literally told me a male, 32, smiling.
Yep.
Like, boom, boom, boom. It told me, first of all,
That's
I was
amazing.
angry. I was angry that it guessed my age. I was hoping to be like, like male, 28, smiling. Nope, hit my age dead on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I have
Go
the
ahead,
app. Yeah, I have the app, and actually, I'm pretty sure a blind software engineer that works for Microsoft is the one that actually came up with that app. And I remember when I first got it, in bodybuilding and fitness, and when I'm like dieting down, trying to get ready for a show, nutrition labels are trying to find a barcode
Oh my
or
God,
trying
yeah.
to scan that. Yeah, so like that, one of the settings on there is barcode searcher, and it if it's not on that side, it uses beeps to help you find the barcode, and then it eventually scan it. It'll like tell you what the product is, and but you can also take a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and it'll like read the print off of it, which to me is like,
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, it's so
yeah.
useful.
There was like before this app came out, there was one who I can't remember the name of it now, but it was
I'm talking
$100.
about that KNFB reader. They
That's
way
it. Yep.
overcharged for that.
It was $100, and I'm like, you're trying to charge blind people $100 because that's.
Yep.
I mean, let's be real. That's the only people that's going to use it. I'm like, that's just kind of that's wrong. God, that's wrong.
Mhm.
But I
agree.
never used it.
That app's
$100.
like out of business now.
Yeah,
I bet.
that makes sense.
So Devin, have you been blind your entire life, or is this something that, like Justin, happened to you later
So
on?
I'm actually kind of like Justin. So I lost my sight at 11. I was 20/20 up until 11, and then I was in a car accident, and so basically went from 20/20 to nothing in about the blink of an eye. Funny pun, but yeah, I mean, so I kind of have the same idea. Unfortunately, I didn't get to the high school level where I was like driving and everything. But yeah, I mean, same kind of level. My fiance though, she's been blind since birth.
Okay.
Wow. So the car accident caused you to go blind. What happened? Like, what happened?
So basically what happened was I was in a car with my mother, and it was a reconstruct vehicle, which basically means it's a vehicle that's been in an accident and then they just repair it. And so the door on her side wasn't put back together very well. So she made a really bad decision because her cell phone slipped off the center console, went under her gas pedal. She took off her seatbelt while the car was in cruise control, reached down to try and grab it, overcorrected, the door popped open, she went out. And so then I grabbed the wheel and we went, I went off the road and then missed a few trees, hit a third one, but we were only doing 35 miles an hour. So what happened was the airbag deployed and I was 11, and I think probably about 5'6", 5'7". I mean, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'3" now, and so the
Oh.
airbag actually hit me in the face and then made my eyes explode, which is insane because if that hadn't happened and it had just been the seatbelt, I'd be fine. All the physicians were like, "No, you'd be great."
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy.
Oh, trust me. I have
Whoa.
a friend who, when he was 9 years old, fell on same kind of idea. Had really good vision up until he was 9, and then fell actually on a trampoline spring, and that's what punctured his eye
Ugh.
and made him lose his sight.
I'm gonna
Oh,
pass.
So
Yeah, there's all kinds of.
go ahead, Justin.
I don't know. I was just going to say, there's all kinds of like I've ever since I've lost my sight, I've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of stories and a lot of crazy things that people go through that cause them to lose their sight. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy.
So if you don't mind me asking, Devin, how old are you now?
I'm 23 now.
So it's
Oh, we're
almost
same age.
Yep.
okay. So it's been 12 years now since you've gone blind. Justin, is there anything that I'm sure you've asked this. I'm sure you've asked people who have been blind for a while, all kind of questions. But for maybe anybody that is watching this that may be dealing with the same things, as somebody who is you're not completely like blind, Justin, right? You can still see like you're telling us before the show started. You still see like lights and
I just
stuff.
have, I just have light perception. So basically, it's like
Yeah.
just a overexposed. I don't
Mhm.
see black. I see basically just gray of nothing. That's kind of the best way I can. And actually, that's why, like for me personally, some people wear glasses like to cover their eyes up. I guess I think that was like Ray Charles's story behind why he. But I mean, for me, I wear glasses because if I walk outside and it's a bright sunny day, it's no pun intended, but it's blinding. It literally like hurts my eyes because my eyes don't dilate. They just don't do that. So when I walk outside and it's a really, really bright sunny day, it's a little stinging to my eyes because that's all that I can see is lights. So
Now, is that the way that it's going to be, or will it go dark?
I don't know. The condition I have, like I said, there's a wide range of visual, like sight loss. There's a wide range of sight loss. I've talked to, I think, one or two people that actually lost their light perception a few years in, and it's going on 3 years now since I lost my sight. But I have talked to some people that they did lose everything, and they couldn't tell if the lights were on or off. But there's really no way to say yes, that's going to happen, or no. There's no way to predict it.
Yeah, I had a good friend whenever I was younger, right after I went blind, who actually had the same condition you do. I mean, well, I'm sure, as you know, there's several different forms of Leber's or Labor's, however
There's
you pronounce it.
congenital. There's Leber's Leber's or Leber's, but there's the two that I know is there's Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, which is what I have, and then there's one that's called Leber's congenital, I think, optic neuropathy.
I've met a few people with a few. I don't remember which one my friend, whenever I was younger, had through the teenage years, but those three that I knew that had it, all lost all their vision.
Yeah, so there's and that's like I think like with my condition, that's the biggest unknown. I mean, there's a lot of research going on, but they kind of have an idea of what might cause it to like trigger, but at the same time they don't know. There's no way to tell how far it's actually going to progress.
Now, I'm going to ask both of you this question. We'll go. Actually, I have two questions that I want to ask, and let's go with this one first.
Okay.
As being, we'll start with Justin, and then we'll go to Devin. As being like losing your sight, has that affected in any way your ability to tell what time of day it is, or like if you take a nap, like and you wake up, like for me, if I take a nap during the day and I wake up and it's still daytime, I know that I just took a quick nap. But how do you deal with that when you can't see?
So for me, I do have light perception, so I can still tell if it's daylight or dark. So that really hasn't. No, that really I've never had that. There's a name for that. I think people that are
They call it
completely blind.
non-24.
Yeah, there's I've saw actually like an infomercial on it or something. But yeah, like people that can see or don't see anything, they're completely blackout blind. I'm pretty sure like some people do struggle with that. But for me, like me personally, since I mean, like it's my eyes are sensitive to light, so it could be not that much light coming in through the blinds. And to me, I think it's still a little bit daylight and it'll be dark outside.
Sure. And Devin?
So for me, it really hasn't affected it at all. The whole non-24 thing is, unfortunately, you would think that in a small community like the blind community that there would be maybe a little more consensus on things, but there's still just as much turmoil and arguments. And the non-24 thing's just as one of those big ones where people get really frustrated and say, "Oh, well, it does or it doesn't exist." But at least for me, I haven't had any issues. Telling what time of day it is, and I think there's a lot more science behind kind of light waves and X-rays and infrared light and all kinds of different spectrums that penetrate walls and different structures that I think the body picks up on that a lot of people don't realize. And so personally, I mean, I can wake up in the middle of the night and I know it's the middle of the night, whether that's down to traffic or temperature or other sounds, or if it's down to light waves. I can't really say, but I know my body definitely knows, hey, it's the dead of night, or hey, it's in the in the middle of the day or whatever.
Sure. Are you guys alluding to that there is within the blind community there are big disagreements on things and some sort of
people? I mean, from the short time that I've been involved and on YouTube and seeing other actually blind creators that make other YouTube videos and stuff, I feel like people do have varying opinions on things. There's definitely different subjects that somebody could have a different opinion on. I mean, even the guide dog thing. Even with a guide dog, some people just don't. It's not that not that they hate dogs. It's just they just personally don't see it being beneficial to them. Whereas for me,
I'm actually one of them.
Yeah. See, some people just don't. They just don't want to. Yeah.
So, Devin, I'm surprised by that. Why don't you think that dogs would be beneficial for you?
So, personally for me, and I have several friends who have dogs, and it's great for them, but for me, the care that it takes, stress that I have to worry about, I mean, you have to make sure that you're keeping your dog on at least decent schedule, make sure that you're not putting your dog in a situation where you're going to unduly stress your dog out, and there's different care things that you have to worry about. And especially me as a 23-year-old guy, and I'm like a metal guitar player and I go out and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So for me, having to worry about putting my dog in a situation where you're dealing with over 120 decibels of noise and you're not going to really be able to pay attention to the dog and maybe not give it its due diligence.
So you mean just for you the scene?
Yeah, specifically for me. Okay, no, I think it's great for a lot of people, but then I don't think it's good for others. But it definitely takes responsibility and discipline.
Got it. Okay, good. Because there for a second I was going to be like, "Wow, I am dying to see how you're gonna."
Well,
we're about to have a on our non-dumpster fire show.
Between two blind people.
I know. I was going to say, "Oh man, this is not what I was expecting here." We're going to have a debate on seeing. Go ahead, Justin.
So, but I will say the only time that I've ever had someone like, and there wasn't a blind, like they weren't blind. So me being a strong fitness channel and that being a lot that I do, I've been one of my buddies that I've been on his channel a couple times is a guy by the name of Brian Turner, and he's vegan. So I was on his channel and I talked about getting a guide dog. And I remember, after I was on his channel, I was on his channel and he wasn't like, long story short, there was one or two people in the comments that's like, I can't believe you would have this guy on your channel that's going to get a guide dog, because some of those take it really offensive because of animal exploitation. Kyle, if you ever need a debate on that, I would love to get in there and hash it out with him if someone's a guide dog. But no, I will say that
let's do that. I didn't know. Okay,
Hey, I'm
this is
down.
this is news to me. I didn't know that there
Oh, I
was
would love that.
a community that, or a group of people that didn't think that having something like
Oh,
a service dog was. They said it was what, animal exploitation.
yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what they
Oh.
said.
Oh,
So it
dude,
definitely
so-
ruffled my feathers.
I've had friends that have had people come up and unlatch the leash from their dogs, try and cut the harness off, try and like grab the dog
What?
from them. Oh yeah,
What?
people get crazy.
Do that.
They're
Yeah.
idiots
Oh
out there, man.
God.
I've never had, other than the petting thing. That's
Yeah.
that's very annoying. But no, I've never. I don't. Just like from his circumstances that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like for me, the gym is obviously not a stressful situation for my dog, and
Oh no.
that's like, and I like to travel, and I love dogs, but it is a lot of care too. Like a lot of people going in. There was 11 people in my guide dog class, and I got a feeling that one or two, maybe three, didn't understand that what they were
Yep.
getting into. Because it's like for me personally, I don't mind. I already had one dog, and it is twice the work, but like it doesn't bother me. But like for some people, if like your example, like playing a guitar and extremely loud music, it's just going to be really hard for you to make that accommodation all the time. Like for me, it's
Yeah.
What
rare
school
if I
did you go
so
to,
loud.
by the way?
Guiding Guys for the Blind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
It's
have a
in-
few friends who have been there.
I can't.
Yeah, it's in New York.
In New York, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to book this this debate now, because this is
Find us-
it's actually
find us some-
it's actually infuriating to me that there are people out there that would do something like that. That would try to unleash. Number one, dogs are such that I don't want to make the argument that's what they were. That's what a dog's purpose is to work. But I think history, as you go back, that is a fact. That is something that
Yeah.
But more than that, dogs love to be like, dogs just love people. And I think that if you're able to, like Justin, you don't just see your dog as a work animal. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get back in from walking down the street and put him in a cage and lock him up. Like, he's a dog that you probably are super close to, that you probably spoil like crazy. Like, he's a member of your family, and the dog's being taken care of. Dogs love going out for walks. He just has the added responsibility of making sure that you don't run into things and that you can get around obstacles. And I don't see how in the world anybody in their right mind could think that that is in any way a bad thing. That just, to me, is bothersome.
It is. And when I first I think when I read that comment, that was the first time that I actually found out, like, okay, I didn't realize like some vegans are like that hardcore with it, and that they were gonna like say that about me getting a guy. And my whole, it was that comment started getting a little thread under it, because I of course I responded, but like you're saying there, Kyle, my guide dogs love to go on a walk. He gets excited when we go to quote unquote work. Like, it's fun. Walmart, to him, there's a lot of energy in Walmart. It's just a very energetic atmosphere.
That's a good way to put it.
There's some. Well, some of those stories, that you've read off are pretty funny. But in Walmart, he's just like so excited, having so much fun, and loves it. He gets so happy. And then, like you're saying, no, I don't bring him home and say, all right, you're off work, time to go to the closet and stay there until we go to work again. It's like right now, my other dog, the one that is my pet, or I just say pet because that's an easy way or Cooper is my other dog, and then I have Diesel. But Diesel's laying right here at my foot. Like, he's just so sweet, just so adorable, and loves. I don't know how they can. I don't know how people come up with that, to be honest. It blows my mind.
I
Go ahead,
definitely
Doug.
know why. There's a Center for the Blind in Northeast Louisiana, in Ruston, Louisiana, called Louisiana Center for the Blind. They teach you kind of cooking, cleaning, technology, Braille, all kinds of blindness, independent stuff. And there, they want you to learn to use your cane before you 100% learn to use the dog, or rely on your dog, because they say if your dog's sick or whatever, you need to be able to use your cane. And so what this one girl would do, instead of, you got multiple breaks throughout the day, and you could go and let your dog out of the kennel, play with it, take it to the bathroom, etc. Well, this one girl, not going to mention any names, but she would leave her dog in the kennel with they have a harness that actually goes around like the nose of the dog. It's called a gentle leader if you're trying to correct your dog or different things like that. And she would keep this gentle leader so tight that the dog could barely open its mouth. So the dog couldn't pant, the dog could barely drink water. And then whenever she would take the dog out, she would, yell and scream at the dog because she's being an idiot and giving the dog bad directions and stuff. And so I'm sure that's where some of it comes from, is people seeing people like that. But again, this girl was just a train wreck.
Yes,
That's
some
terrible.
some people definitely don't even deserve a guide dog, to be honest. And
I had to take out my earbud.
And you're right though. Like even for me, like when I wanted to get a guide dog, the way Guiding Eyes works, and I'm like a full 100% behind them as far as being a good school. I mean, they took great care of me, and they were awesome. But the way the process works, like I had to be proficient with my cane. I had to be able to walk. Like I could walk, not where I live now, but I moved recently. But where my mom lives, I could walk from my house to the gym, my house to the grocery store, and with my cane, no problem. I mean, it was just, it wasn't the best. It was kind of a long walk, and it wasn't that fun using a cane because of just problems with using a cane, like getting jabbed in the belly button. But, but yeah, I mean, they definitely, and I had an interview and like application and all these things that they fly a guy out to your house to do an interview and make sure that your house is okay to have a guide dog, and make sure that you're going to be the right fit for a guide dog. And even the 3 weeks that I was up there, of course they're gonna, if they see you mistreating a dog, you're not going to go home with that guide dog. And and that, which is a good thing. It's sad that people do that,
That's how I know that heaven doesn't really exist, is because if God created a paradise and didn't allow dogs, or didn't mention it in dogs being able to be there, then it's not real. Because if anybody or anything deserves to go to heaven,
it's
all dogs go to heaven.
Remember, Kyle?
Oh yeah, that's right. Damn it, you're correct. Heaven
I'm a
is real.
philosophy student, so I get into all that.
Oh well,
Lord.
You should.
Or Steve.
You should come back on when Steve's on.
I would love to.
What kind of philosophy? Anything in particular?
I'm just kind of in the beginning stages right now, but I'm really into kind of the argument analysis, policy analysis type stuff, really justifying the reasons for why you're doing something, that type of stuff. But I was going to say, Kyle, if you want some of the debates around blindness topics, this is how petty it gets. So I heard Justin earlier saying that his cane. Oh yeah, there's some big hotly debated.
But have some new dumpster fires.
Oh man,
right? Let's start a blindness dumpster fire. So canes are a big one. There's probably 100 different types of canes. There's folding canes, telescoping canes, bendable canes, straight canes, stiff canes, this cane, that cane, tall canes, short canes, and people will get in arguments for hours about them. Screen readers, so things that'll read your speech out loud.
Hold on one second,
about which one's the best. Oh, sure.
Casey, I think Casey was getting ready to ask the question that I was going to ask.
Okay, sure.
So in regards to canes, that's fine.
Sure.
There's a lot of different options, and that's actually great because then people can use whatever option is best for them. Why do other people care what kind of cane other people use?
Yes.
What difference does it make?
Devin, you'll have to answer that because I have no clue.
Sure. So as somebody who I almost went into the field of teaching orientation and mobility. I almost went and did an apprenticeship and went to do that, and then decided against it because I actually want to have a career. But anyway, some of the big points in that is that the different types of canes, depending on the type of cane you use, how long it is, and things like that, is going to really kind of help you see what's in front of you. To put it in, I guess, the best
Mhm.
words I can. You get the biggest kind of range. So the longer your cane is, the more you can see in front of you, etc. And so what happens is teachers and people who are frequent cane users will say, hey, you need to use a longer cane. You need to use a little more flexible cane, because there's kind of a fear, at least among newly blind people, of the cane. They find it embarrassing. They don't want to be, they feel like it's shameful to almost have a cane, and they don't want to use
Yeah, I
it, and
felt
they
that
want
way.
it to, they want it gone as quick as possible, as unobtrusive. And so it kind of puts you at a detriment. And so a lot of times it's stemming from a good place, but then people become kind of jerks about it and go, no, you need to use this because it's the best one. And ultimately, after a certain point, really after length comes into play, you're really not seeing too much of a difference other than like weight or how flexible the cane is. But a lot of times the length really is where the argument is, whether it's up to your forehead or up to your chest or wherever.
Oh God.
So what you're
But
saying
even
is
if there
that
was,
size
but
matters.
even,
Yes, size does matter.
but even if there was
So do
a
you-
significant difference, I still don't understand why it matters what someone else is comfortable using. I guess I feel the same way about
I agree.
canes as I do about who anybody else sleeps with. I don't care. Like, I don't
do
know
too.
if, like,
Who it is.
for
If it's Channing
you.
Tatum, I care.
the reason really is almost because you care about the other person, because you've been there, because you understand
Oh
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
dealing with shame about it, and you're trying to say, hey, instead of feeling shame about this, do what's best for you. This is going to help you a lot, rather than having somebody live with that guilt and shame and then wind up running into more things, hurting themselves, things like that.
So
Yeah.
okay, so that's okay. So that's one. What is give me another very contentious.
All right, here's one that's I honestly say is the worst, and it comes down to technology, and I see this argument all the
I
time, and
think I
it's
know where you're going.
pathetic. It's screen readers and operating systems. Some people are Mac people,
Yep.
some people are PC people, some people like this screen reader, some people like that one, and they've all
Yep.
got the different things that they use. And I use multiple different screen readers because I also do assistive technology testing for a company right now. So I'm just using all the technology I can, trying to get it working for everybody. But people will, friendships have been torn apart based on these types of petty
Oh, wow.
things. Almost sometimes
Why?
it gets like 4chan. Yeah,
Why?
I don't know, man. I
Who cares?
don't know.
Yeah, who cares what somebody else used though? Why is that
Because
although
it
I will
sucks,
say
man.
Red's rhetoric almost defriended me because I have an iPhone. So
I
okay.
yeah,
tell
Kyle,
you,
on that.
it gets to that extent.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, with Reds, I just have to disagree. I'm an Apple person, but I mean, but
Oh,
that
same
what
here.
I don't get, yeah, but what I
'cause you're
don't
smart.
get is I've never exactly, but no, I actually had I had my computer, I have a MacBook Pro. It's good Lord, it's 5-6 years old, and it's still going strong. I mean, it was nice when I bought it, and I'm glad I went and got a nice computer then. I mean, that was before I went blind, and
You ever had a virus?
I've always just enjoyed. What was that?
You ever had a virus?
Nope, I have not.
Sure.
But and
Motherfucker.
once I got my Mac, I was like, yeah, this is. I like only problem I really have with it is when I need to have a software or program, and it's only for PC. So that's when it like. And I know you can
You got to
can
boot camp it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't like to do it. But anyway, I mean, I feel like it just boils down to personal preference. I mean,
100%.
I started using VoiceOver with my computer and with my phone, and I find it very useful. I find it very easy. Once you learn how to use it, it's very user friendly. So it's like for me,
Yep.
that's just what I started using. Now I understand, like people that use, goodness, I can't even think of it. The Jaws. I mean,
Jaws and yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy. Same with the cane thing. People have
Yeah.
different preferences, and I will say though, my orientation and mobility teacher, when I told her, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to get a dog eventually. She's like, just wait. She was almost trying to talk me out of it, and I'm like,
What?
I'm getting a dog. Yeah, yeah. I've talked to another guy that I know. He lives down in Alabama, and he is in the process right now of losing his sight. And he talked about his teacher was the same way, and it's like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I find it funny. I don't. Some people,
There's a really good training center actually in Alabama being built up by some people I know.
I didn't. I will say though, like you mentioned there in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
In North Carolina, the slowest people was the ones trying to help me with vocational rehab, the things with cooking, the things with, there is services out there, but my personal experience is I would have done starved to death if I was counting on people like that. And it was almost to the point with my cane. Most people, when they go through orientation mobility training, they have, I don't even know how many sessions. I had one session a month for like 3 months, and that was it.
Same here. I had like 3 sessions. I went blind in middle school, and I had like 3 sessions all the way up until I finally went to a training center. I think the best resource really for helping those kind of other blind people.
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody mentioned Louis Rossman in the chat. I'm obsessed with his channel. By the way, if you haven't seen Louis Rossman, make sure that you go. He's almost to 1 million
frequently.
Oh, he's amazing. And I'll tell you this. This is what I like about. He is. This is what I like about Louis Rossman. If you don't know, he's very anti-Apple. He had what he does is he is a MacBook repair guy. So when people take their MacBooks to Apple and Apple tells them we can't replace it, we can't get your data off of it, or we're going to charge you thousands of dollars, they go to Louis. Louis can fix them for fractions of the cost. Can fix them when Apple says that they can't. I mean, he's a genius. But even if you don't watch him for the repair stuff and the things associated with Apple, if you listen to Louis Rossman and the advice that he gives and his outlook on life, the guy is one of the most motivating people I have ever listened to. I mean, the guy will just he gets it. He gets things about life, and it's so true, the things that he says, and he has no filter. The guy has no filter whatsoever. He says whatever's on his mind, and he's a genius. So if you go check out Louis Rossman, I would love to have him on here sometime just to talk about things. But there are certain times where he'll just go on a rant, and he will rant about what the meaning of life is, and he's just a genius. So do yourself a favor and check out Louis Rossman if you haven't. So
funny thing,
huh? Which
we should have him on our show.
We should. I'm gonna message him, see if I can't get him on here. If anybody out there knows him too, or if you're tweet at him or on his Discord or whatever, hint Hannah. Tell him he should come on the show. So to sort of wrap this up, which, by the way, this has been one of my favorite talks that we've done. I thought this was absolutely great, and it's really cool to see two people that are facing probably one of if not the most challenging things that somebody can go through. I can't think of anything worse than losing your sight. I really can't.
Quadriplegic would beat it. Quadriplegic.
Yeah, there's
quadriplegic all the way.
Well, see,
I'd rather lose my sight than have no arms or legs.
And this is the thing about you guys, like your outlook on life and your refusal to just like let it beat you and or let it define you or let it stop you from anything. It's just really inspirational, and it's really been very cool to have you guys on and listen to your stories. Let's talk about the future now. And we'll start with Justin. What's the future like for you? Are you holding out hope that something will come around? Can something change the situation that you're in? And what do you think the future's like for you?
So I definitely think that I'm only 23, so I mean, I feel like there's a lot of time ahead, and since my eyes are fine and there's really no major problem other than the genetic mutation, I feel like research will eventually come out with something. So, if it does, that'll be great. I would love to see again. And, I even have a video talking about how I'm actually glad that I went blind, because it sounds weird. No, I don't
Wow.
like that I can't see, but at the end of the day, I've learned from where I was at 3 years ago in April to where I am now is a huge difference. And I've learned so much just going through life, not being able to see, facing challenges. I would have probably never started my YouTube channel. I would never have done the things that I've done. I probably wouldn't be engaged right now. And it's like, it's a good thing. It's kind of like I don't know, it's a good thing in a way, and I'm glad it happened. But no, I definitely think there will be a cure. And, for me, one of my goals is to hopefully break a world record in powerlifting. I've looked up some of the numbers for the world records. They have a blind division in powerlifting, not bodybuilding. So, bodybuilding is the way you look. Powerlifting is how much weight you can move. There's 3 different lifts. But yes, I would like to, in the blind division, set a world record in that. And that's, within the next 2 to 3 years maybe. And I don't know. I definitely, one of my biggest goals is to have an impact within the visually impaired and blind community, whether that be just showing people that it's not, I mean, it is a challenge, but it's not the end of the world. I like to portray it's just a different way of living life. And that's one of my goals, and just to have an impact on the visually impaired and blind community in some sort of way. I think, here recently, I think I'm actually really pondering going back to school to learn something about the body. That's what not engineering. When it came to engineering, mechanical engineering, I was a very visual learner, like very, very visual learner. I was good at it, and I loved math. I loved physics, and that's kind of what brought me actually to NonSequitur was, the flat earth debates and, actually knowing the physics of the math. But yeah, I was really, really good at it. But the thing was, I was very visual, and now I think I would rather go back to school for something within, kinesiology, something with the body. That way I can learn more about, just about the anatomy of the body, how the body works, and apply that to what I do. So, yeah.
You talking about the bodybuilding and stuff isn't helping your case for people wanting to see the guns. I'm just saying
Oh God.
they're
Lord.
I can't tell you like it's humbling to me, and it never you never get used to the feeling when we've had some amazing people on this show, and to hear them say that they enjoy watching this show and stuff. You never get really used to hearing that. I really appreciate you saying that, and for finding us, because if it wasn't for that, we may not have crossed paths, and I'm really glad that we did. Devin,
I'm
sure. But
yeah, no, I really appreciate that as well. And yeah, I love watching the show, and like I said, I watch a lot of YouTube, and a lot of the times, like I said, and I'm sure Devin will completely understand with me here. Even last night in the chat, I like to try to listen to some of the chat, but considering that my phone has to read the chat and go through chat by message by message, it's Kyle. The fact that I saw that you message or sent me a message or in the chat last night was kind of a miracle. It's like I rarely have actually read through the chat, just because if I do that, then my phone is going and I can't understand the actual conversation of what's going on in the background. So usually I'm just just listening, which I'm sure he can understand that.
It was God that made sure that you heard my message.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
I was going to ask you about that too, because I did send you. I saw that you were in the chat last night, and I was like, "Oh, I've been meaning to get up with Justin, and let's get him on." And you responded, so that's really cool that you're able to actually listen to the chat. Although the chat goes crazy sometimes, So
Yeah, it's fast.
they're you have to pick and choose. Okay, Devin, what
Sure.
about you, sir? What's the future look like for you?
Future so far, definitely finish college, finish up what I'm doing. I'm kind of in the same vein as Justin as far as making a good impact on the kind of blind, visually impaired community, but in a different way. I get really frustrated a lot of times with the way that blindness is handled on a media level, on a grander scale, especially. So I have like a giant bone to pick with Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan really kind of talks down about disabilities and says some pretty ignorant things, and it gets really frustrating for somebody who apparently is like really open-minded and really critically thinking, and that's pretty common among a lot of, I guess, people in the mainstream, because they're just not thinking through it, and there's kind of this shallow vision of blindness that blind people are kind of helpless or stupid. So kind of tackle a lot of that, deal with policy as far as job employment discrimination, deal with disability discrimination, teach people resource management, kind of teach people how to treat people with disabilities, and especially blind people better, because blind people, I don't know if you knew this, Justin, but blind people are some of the most overqualified workers. They're blind people who have doctorate degrees who cannot get a job most of the time because they're blind. So kind of doing that, really kind of delve into that policy analysis, and I'm into other forms of ethics too, and kind of dealing with that. So that's kind of where I'm headed. Don't know if law school is there yet. Definitely want to do something with music. Music's like my heart and soul. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm headed. As far as the vision gaining thing, I'd love to gain my vision back. That'd be awesome. I miss playing Kingdom Hearts and Zelda and Final Fantasy and all that stuff. That was like my life for a long time. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not really too worried about it, because my life has become, and I think this is something that blindness definitely helped me kind of figure out, is that my life isn't necessarily blindness. I'm a guy who happens to be blind. I'm just not the blind guy. So it's just a part of who I am, and I've got such a multifaceted kind of groundwork that I am kind of who I am, and I'm going to go do my own thing.
Well said.
Yeah.
I think. Sure, go ahead, Casey.
Oh no, I was just saying that's awesome. Like, yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a good a good take to have on the situation, because it's something that you do have to live with. So, making the best of your life and having a passion to try to make an impact and change things better for other people that are in similar situations, I think is a really, really great way to, contribute to your community.
Yeah.
And I think that I think you both. I know Justin mentioned it a second ago, where he wants to be an inspiration to other people that have that are visually impaired. I think you already are that. I would be willing to say, go out on a limb and say that you have that mission is accomplished. I know that even for people who, like myself, who can see, you're an inspiration, like beyond measure. Like you make. You both are the type of person that makes people want to, just be better people. That's the thing that I'm seeing over in the live chat. Like several times it's been mentioned. Wow, they make me want to be just a better person. So you're already having an impact there. So
can I say something to that though, Kyle?
Sure.
So there's something called inspiration porn for disabled people, and kind of what it is a lot of time is, and I'm definitely not accusing you of this. I know I can definitely tell where you're coming from.
Sure.
But there's a lot of pity that goes on where, if that person can do it, I can definitely do it. And that's definitely another thing I'm trying to change, is this idea that because that blind person can do it, you can definitely do it. It's like, no, it takes a hell of a lot more than just your eyes to be able to. There's a guy named Eric Weinberg who freaking climbed Mount Everest. So it wasn't his eyes that got him through that. So
I can totally see that.
That's another thing I'm definitely trying to change.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
I totally agree. And I like with what Devin said earlier too, when he was talking, he said, you're not just a blind guy. You're just a guy that happened to be blind. And that's the way I was really bad about this when I first started. Any creator on YouTube can understand where I'm coming from here. It's like, you obviously get better as you go, but there's so many videos I forgot to even people don't know that I'm blind. And it's because I don't that's not the way I live my life. And I think that's really important. And same with what he's saying, you know, especially with me with bodybuilding, I don't ever want that to be a thing. I'm up there, like whether I'm blind or not, that's not the point. Like I'm still, when it comes to like the sport of bodybuilding and powerlifting and things like that, it's just me going out there and doing it, not saying, oh, wow, that's awesome that a blind guy could do that. It's like, that's not necessarily
right.
Yeah,
Sure.
so, no, I totally understand what he's saying as well, yeah.
Yeah,
I came in a little late. Did you guys cover Molly Burke at all? You know, the other kind of big popular blind YouTuber?
We have not.
Okay, yeah. She's done stuff with like Philip DeFranco and a bunch of other people. You should check her out, Molly Burke.
She's got like a 1 point, I don't even know how many million.
She's insane. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, she I was subscribed to her when she was like at 14 or 15,000 subscribers, and then she got a collab with Casey Neistat, and then she got a collab with Shane Dawson, and then she got a collab with the James the makeup guy. Yeah, she hooked up when she moved to LA. She got a ton of collaborations with.
Oh man, she killed it.
Yeah, she definitely that's awesome.
Cool. Well, I would like to have you both back to have a couple of these potential dumpster fires. Although I'm amazed at the topics.
We need that dumpster fire.
Would you both be interested in that?
Oh,
I'm 100% down. And if there's ever a flat earther out there that would like a blind guy to tell him how gravity works, I'm down.
Hey,
there's nobody who knows better.
You can come on.
I can definitely. Yeah.
You can come on with me and John on a Saturday night anytime.
Saturday Night Fight.
Yeah. No, I watch all of those. That's I find it really fun. And if Russian Vids is, I doubt he's in the chat, but he is he is an idiot for passing up on an opportunity to watch a rocket launch.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that frustrated me.
Yeah,
you hear that?
Yeah, that was my mind. You got blind people calling you out. I wish I could see it. Come on, Russian Vids.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It reminds me of that Ray Charles joke. You know what I'm saying? Like Russian Vids. That was such a. How is it? What is that? What is that?
Come on, you can't do that, Kyle.
I'm gonna fuck it up, so I'm not even gonna attempt it. But it was like that's such a dumb move. Even Ray Charles can see how stupid that was.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
I will ask though, Justin, is there a way I can keep in contact with you, man? Because I know some other blind people in North Carolina, and I'd love to put you in contact with some different people that I know just out of being blind so long and things like that.
That would be awesome. I'm trying to start up a beat ball. Do you play beat ball?
No, but I have several friends who do. I actually have a friend in Ohio who used to have a league going.
What is that?
Yes, I mean, if you look on my channel, you'll find I have a playlist. The videos did really bad. They're probably really boring, but I documented the games anyway. But beat ball is like baseball for blind people. It's all off sound.
The ball beeps.
The ball beeps. The bases buzz. And it's really it gets pretty intense.
It's intense.
Yeah, I played baseball since I was 5 years old, so that's like, I love it. And but the closest team to me is in Georgia, so that's no fun. Mm-hmm. So I want to get one up in North Carolina again. But if you go to my channel and go to like the about section, you'll find my like Instagram, Facebook. And once you contact me on there, I'll just give you my number and you can text me because that's way
cool, man.
If you both want to, just hang on. We're getting ready to close here in just a second. Just hang on the call, and you can pass information back and forth once.
There we
do that.
Cool.
Okay, let me read these super chats really quick, and then we'll let you guys plug your channels or any other social media that you have, and we'll call it.
Sure.
Well, actually, then we'll have Casey walk through the birdhouse thing, and then we'll close it out. Okay, RJ says Quyasa said he doesn't like Steve. So messed up. Steve, poor Steve in the super chat. last night. They killed Steve in the super chats last night. It was
That was
savage.
that was hilarious.
It was savage. It was so savage. Andrew
funny.
Knowles says,
Man, last night killed me.
Casey, do us a favor. Don't depend on software. Hardware done right is the correct way. No hardware bugs, please. Tired of mitigating them. I guess this is a software hardware thing.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
engineering thing.
Okay. Brian Shannon, Justin for Vision Fund. Vibrantly Brantley, my boss has a blind sister. Vibrantly, my boss has a blind sister. He sometimes swaps her water out for vodka, which she finds funny.
What a dick!
Have you been pranked at all since you've lost your sight?
Yes.
Yes, but in a terrible way. My family used to move the furniture around on me like dicks.
Yeah, no, that's about the extent. I don't think I don't even need to tell my dad that one because I chug water. So if I had vodka,
Man.
that would not be good enough. That's funny though. That is funny.
Let me ask you guys this: Have you been drunk, Justin, since you've went blind? And
Yeah.
how does that? And how is that? How's that made worse?
I wouldn't.
Or how did you survive?
To me, it's not that that different. I will say, this is probably the funniest story I have. I think, yeah. When I was going, I didn't. It was like a couple weeks probably before I had my cane, and I was in the epicenter of Charlotte, which I don't know if many people. I'm sure Kyle, you know, but
I do.
I was down there for like a birthday party or something with my brother, and somehow through the night, I did fall walking down the stairs, but I didn't have my cane and I couldn't see hardly anything. I did fall walking downstairs, and then it was like the end of the night. Like all the places were shutting down, and there was a security guard like, "Hey man, my brother went to the bathroom," and I had like a little cut on my forehead from. Once again, I don't know what I ran into, but the security guard came up to me. He's like, "You can't be in here. It's closing hours. You gotta leave." And I couldn't see to walk out of there. So, I mean, I was drinking, but I fully remember it. It was just, if you don't have a cane or you don't have a dog, people don't know you're blind. They don't know you can't see. Nope. And this guy probably thought I was so messed up because they asked me, they go, what is your brother wearing? And I'm like, I don't know. That's a good question. I was like, I don't know. But no, I mean, honestly, it's really, I don't think it's that much different. I mean, in my opinion, it's not.
Yeah, that's funny.
I have a drunk story. So actually, when me and my fiance, when we admitted we liked each other, I was 17 shots deep. So I was gone. And
how many?
So I was actually 17. I was
obliterated. I would be dead. I
mean, I'm a big guy, and I'm pretty alcohol resistant, thanks to an alcoholic family. One of the perks, actually. So I was at the training center in Louisiana, and the bar we were at was about 6 blocks away from the house, and I wanted to walk home. I was like, all right, cool, we're going to walk home. Nope, stood up, fell back down, woke up at the apartment complex, went in the apartment, puked, stumbled my way out. And the whole time I don't have a cane. I don't know how I did all this. Time kind of dilated, and I guess God was guiding my hands. But crawled out of the apartment, found my girlfriend at the time, now fiance, who was like really upset because this other guy had like tried to make a move on her, and she said no, and then he was like all drunk. So she was like really upset, talking to some friends, and I like crawled out to this picnic table. I'm super drunk, and I obviously should not have been there. But I'm like laying there like, no, you can't go. I want to make sure you're okay. Her apartment's about 5 feet from where we're sitting. And I'm like, no, somebody has to walk you home. Because I was too drunk to do it. And then somehow I managed to stumble my way halfway down a sidewalk, puke on the sidewalk, and my friend had to bring her cane to walk me back to my apartment because I couldn't find it.
Oh man. Well, as long as we're telling drunk stories, I might as well tell mine too. When I drink tequila, I get just so stupid. And I was in college, and me and a friend we were renting a house at the time, and these houses are like really, really close together. Like they're very, very like, there's not but like this much space in between the houses, like almost literally. They're just right on top of each other. And I had actually gotten kicked out of this bar, which I got kicked out of all the time. It's one of my fraternity brothers owns it. It's a dive bar, but I've been kicked out of it probably 3 times. So I'm walking, yeah, I'm walking home, and we have a porch swing in this like sunroom, and I go into the sunroom, and I lay down I sit down on the swing, and the next morning there's this little kid tugging at my shirt, and I had went to the neighbors. I went to the neighbors' sunroom instead of mine, and had woken up to a 6-year-old little Abigail going, "Mommy says you're not supposed to be here."
Oh my god. That is amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't at the time. I was very, very, very embarrassed. I sent a fruit basket over though, so I think we're good now. Okay.
I don't have a drunk story because I don't drink.
Well, that's probably
It's very
that's probably the
That's
best.
no fun.
Be
Probably
glad.
the best
Mhm.
decision, but not a
Very
fun
sad.
decision.
Be glad.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not. Like, I mean, I have to watch all the flat Earth stuff sober, so no, it's not fun.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, like,
Sorry.
we were very cool. We were very cool with that neighbor. They weren't much older than.
I mean, clearly, you aren't arrested.
Right,
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about. Like I used to like for Easter and stuff. We would do like things with Easter eggs with the kids. They were really cool, and I think she understood what was going on, which is why she allowed little Abby to go wake me up. Otherwise, that would be just very, very strange. But I can't tell you what it's like to be like tugged on. I'm hungover. The sun's like beating down your face. And she's like, "Mommy says you're not supposed to be here." And I was like, "Wow, I must be really fucking dreaming right now." Okay, so let's see. Night Demon says, "Hi, Kyle, Dave, and Caitlin. Nice mug, LOL." Scrat
Yeah.
the skeptic
You
squirrel
can
says,
hold on. You can get your own bitch made mug at what is it? nonsexshow.merch/merch. Give them the website.
nonsexshow.com/merch.
That one.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And you can get it comes in a shirt form and a sticker too, so you can slap.
I ordered the sticker, but I haven't gotten it yet. I got the mug like days ago, but I have not gotten the sticker yet. So, because my laptop is like covered in content creator stickers.
Excellent.
That's cool.
I love it.
Scrat the skeptic squirrel says it's at an even 3.0 right now. I think that is the rating for that place.
Yeah, that's what I saw when I was looking through.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And True
Yeah,
Blue,
that's awesome.
True Blue, yes, we deliver to Australia. It delivers anywhere except Antarctica, because obviously you can't get it there because that's the ice wall.
Penguins need a mug.
Vandy004 sent one super chat in without a message, but his second one says, "Kyle for best discount garden gnome." Thank you. And I'm just kidding. The
Wait,
first one says,
did you read the hair one?
I don't see one with hair.
Yes.
talking
Okay, so
Me neither.
I will read the one from Vandy about the hair. Hold on,
Oh,
let me
no.
get to it.
I don't think that one didn't.
It's something about Casey having the best hair.
I think you're making that up. I don't see super chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, you want to help me out, buddy?
Yeah, we
Dave doesn't
definitely have to
know.
agree.
Dave doesn't know what to talk about, do you, Dave?
Why y'all got to put me in the middle of this shit?
I was supposed to say that's wrong.
Good answer.
But I think Kyle has the best hair. So I'm just
Oh,
of course
see, now,
Casey could also be you, right?
Oh,
we,
yeah.
see,
Here's a
that's
fun
what I.
challenge
That's what
for
I.
you guys.
What?
You have 2 blind people on the stream. You guys should describe each other so we know what you look like.
Okay.
Yeah, I
want
have
you
no
to
clue.
Easy. Take the statue of David,
Oh,
that,
Lord.
that chisel masterpiece that you see in Greek. All All right, and then I want you to take a really cool hairstyle, and I want you to put it on that statue.
And
That is
when he
up to you,
says
huh?
really cool hairstyle, he means like really super short on the sides, like almost
Hey.
like super shaved on the sides, and then like a poof in the middle, all the way down the
Yeah.
middle. Poof.
Somebody once
He's got,
described
like,
it as a dollop, and I think it's a good word.
Doll.
A dollop.
Yeah.
That's actually
But the dollop goes all the way down the middle of his head.
I mean, I cut my hair shaved on the side. It's just my fiance is a hairdresser, and I'm always the last on the list to get it cut. But no, I like the shaved on the
cut my
sides.
hair in over a year.
Oh no, I couldn't do that.
I tried that.
Goldilocks over here.
I tried that. I couldn't.
I do have to ask.
Mr. T. What does that mean? I don't even know how to take that. Now my whole night's fucked up.
No, I have to ask what.
I paid a fool.
Poor Steve
Go ahead.
ain't here to defend himself, but like, what is? I hear comments about Steve's hair all the time. What kind of hair does Steve have?
Just long gray grandpa hair, like super long and
curly?
like grayish white. It's really ridiculous.
Make a
So I
really
guess
stressed
Steve
out
lives
Fabio.
3 doors down from me.
Really stressed out Fabio.
Think Gandalf after sticking his finger in a light socket.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Because there's this guy who's described the exact same way to me that lives 3 doors down, except his name's Billy, and he only ever says, "How you doing? See you later."
Oh, Steve has been mistaken for Billy Connolly quite a few times, so that could be the same.
There
person.
you go.
It's like
Don't
long
expose
wizard
Steve.
hair and beard. He looks like a disheveled wizard.
By the
I
way,
think that's it. Yeah.
YouTube Surgeon General, Kyle looks gay. What does that mean exactly? YouTube Surgeon General.
Fabulous. He
I've
looks
seen
fabulous.
some sexy gay guys.
Look gay. Thank you. It's my.
I'm not saying
I
you're
just
one
need
of
your
them,
time.
but you might be.
Well, if not, then
You
I
might
take
be.
that back. Thank you. Maybe. And then the last one says, Kuyasa says, RJ keeps lying about me. I don't hate Steve at all. I just find the Don Knotts plus Gandalf hybrid thing amusing. That's literally all. For reference, that's Barney Fife and Gandalf.
That's so funny.
Oh man.
Okay, so now let's give you guys a second to plug your channels or whatever else that you want to shill or put out there, or you want anybody else to know. Justin, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so if you want to check me out, Justin Holland on YouTube, and then if you find me on there, then all of my other social media like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram is all on there as well. It's just, yep, so it'll all be on there. So that's pretty much it.
Excellent. And Devin?
So I don't actually do much social media. I haven't started a YouTube channel or anything like that. I've thought about it. So who knows? Maybe you'll see something in the future.
Cool. Well, you'll definitely be seeing more of these guys here in the future. I didn't know about these topics that I'm going to be looking into, but
Oh, there's so many.
it just goes to show you can always to steal. We talked about Louis Rossman. I will end by stealing his tagline. That's all for now, and as always, I hope you learned something.
Bye, y'all.
Man, that bass is intense.